Hello, welcome. Not sure what's happening on Facebook Live here, but it is not working. Well, I'm just going to try to go out of it and go back in. So I appreciate your patience today. We're going to get to it here shortly. Live video about whether visualization and manifestation actually works. I don't know what the deal is here. Post on timeline, go live automatically at scheduled start time. Maybe we're live. Well, I guess we can hope. It doesn't show that we're live, but we'll go with that. All right, so we'll just get started. Welcome. We're going to give a few minutes for people to jump on if they choose to. I am Angela Hansen, a yoga therapist in training, finishing up my practicum with a wonderful school in Victoria, BC, called Agna Yoga Therapy. And it's been such a blessing to be able to complete my practicum and complete my training online. During the pandemic, that was one of their offerings. So I was able to do it from the comfort of my own home, which was actually super important to me at that time. I was going through recovering from PTSD and chronic pain, and I would not have been able to really go out in the world too much at that point. So it was truly a blessing that I was able to kind of fast track my training and healing through the training. So if you're looking for, yoga therapy workshops to learn more, to dive deeper, they offer wonderful workshops, usually on weekends or evenings, so you can work around your schedule. And I'm just finishing up the 800-hour training that'll be a certified international yoga therapist and certified through the IAYT, International Association of Yoga Therapists. So that is me. I've developed a program for chronic pain specifically because I just went through it. I know what it takes to overcome chronic pain, and I want to be able to share that with other people out there who are struggling to figure out a way. And I know for me, I suffered for many, many years trying to figure out a way and ended up in worse position, and I got super frustrated, hopeless, and felt helpless overall. So I know how dark of a road that can be and how hard of a life that can be, that it almost feels like it's not worth living. I've been there. So if you feel like that, if you feel like me, and you are still looking, then please reach out to me. Continue to enjoy the free material that I have, and decide that is maybe something. Everything else you've tried is not working, then maybe you need to do something different, right? So anyway, so the Yoga Therapy to Heal Freedom Formula program for chronic pain is a 6-month program. And I developed it so that you can go at your own pace. So you do have up to 9 months to complete it. And you could complete it in as little as 3 months if you were super gung-ho and feeling well. But I've given lots of extra time just to allow for life to happen and for you to move through your journey of healing at your own pace. So let's get into the topic for today. So today is Monday. We like to manifest on Mondays. And the topic is, does that actually work? Does visualization and manifestation actually work? So does anyone out there know if it actually works within themselves? You could ask yourself, like, have I even tried to truly visualize and manifest what I want out of life? And if the answer is no, then stay tuned. We're going to jump into why it works, how it works, and I'm going to share with you some steps that you could take immediately today to start implementing some visualization and manifestation into your life. It's amazing. You have the power. And when we get that kind of power shift, it opens up doors when we start to see, oh wait, I am actually in charge. Everything I need is within me. I don't need to reach out to somebody else to tell me. I don't need to reach out to a doctor or a physiotherapist or so on and so on. Sure, they're great resources. They're great support. But at the end of the day, everything you need to heal is within yourself. And so finding these resources, finding what works for you, using your power of visualization and manifestation are key in the journey in getting to where you want to be. And so for me, I find it really frustrating, I guess, watching people. I mean, I get frustrated, but at the same time, I totally understand it because I was there. I'm not on my soapbox here by any means, but it's sad. It's really hard to see when people are suffering so greatly and they're in their own way. They're causing their own suffering by their thought process. And it's so difficult to watch people self-sabotage when they don't even realize that they're doing it. Or maybe they do, but they don't know how to stop it, how to get out of it. So I think that this is an important topic. I think it's an important video that I'm offering. And if you feel like you're one of those people that continues to suffer, that no matter what you're trying and you truly want to get out of your suffering, some of us find suffering self-serving as well. So you might ask yourself, if I'm suffering, what happens in my life? Is it working for me? For some of us, it might be actually working to be in pain or to be suffering. And I don't say that with any sense of accusation or negativity. I say that in a explorative way to maybe look at yourself and say, what do I truly want? Do I want to stay in this place of suffering? Does it serve me? Does it serve my best interest and my best outcome? And sometimes that might be yes. Maybe there's too much work to do. Maybe it's too out of reach, and that's okay. I'm not knocking it by any means. I think the important factor is to see that you do have the power. You have the ultimate control over your outcomes. And so I do talk to a lot of clients or potential clients that I see them self-sabotage or hear them self-sabotage and get in their own way, and they have, an excuse, something that somebody else is telling them, and so then they're taking that on as their own and making it their own narrative or their own story, rather than saying, no, that's their thought process. I have my own thought process and I get to choose what that is, right? So if you are a person that feels like you are ready, you want to get out of the pain, you want to move forward, you can start today. You can literally start today with visualization and manifestation. Okay, so if you are feeling that you're ready, you have to just make that choice. You have to decide to do it. And notice when you start to get into your own way, when you start to self-sabotage, like we've just been talking about. So welcome if you're jumping on. Awesome to see you. Kristen, thanks for joining. We're just getting started. I'm just talking a little bit about the power of visualization and manifestation, and that we really do have control. We have, we're in control of our outcomes. And so sometimes we don't even realize that we're in control, and we're manifesting things that we don't want because we're focusing on the things we don't want. Okay, where your energy goes, your awareness goes. Okay, so wherever energy is going, wherever your awareness is going, if you're thinking about a negative narrative, whatever it might be, you might not even realize you're thinking about it. It could be subconscious. That's still where the energy is going to go. And the world is essentially the universe. The law of the universe is to reflect back to you. So it's really your mirror, right? So if you're putting out there, I'm in pain all the time, I'm in pain all the time, nothing ever works out for me, I'll never get better, all of the negative, then that's going to be your reality. That's what you're putting out there. You're acting from that place. Your energy is about that place. And you're attracting things that support that from the universe. Okay, so we're going to talk in a bit more depth about why this happens, like the science behind it. But yeah, so I want to just touch on the fact that it's not easy. Like, this work isn't easy, but it becomes easier with time and practice. And so I have incorporated practices, resources, ways to reframe the thought process in my program, in the Yoga Therapy to Heal Freedom Formula for Chronic Pain program. And so there literally is a whole module dedicated to this, a whole module of the program where it's dedicated. That's how important it is, the visualization, the manifestation. And we have to turn it around to truly get to where you want to be in life. If you're not getting there, it's because you are self-sabotaging. You are making the choices. And so this is a time to maybe reflect on what you're thinking, reflect on some of the negative thoughts. And I'm going to give you a few tools after the video today to walk away with, to start doing this right away and start to see how it reflects in your life right away, as soon as you shift your thought process. Okay, so I can give you an example of when this worked for me. And I remember the shift, and it was quite astonishing when I was doing my 200-hour yoga training, and I had to do days and days and days of yoga, right? So physical work in my body. And I was in chronic pain. And so I was challenging myself. And sometimes, I mean, at a 200-hour level, the teachers they're not necessarily trained in chronic pain. And so they might not have had the tools that I needed. But I had this deep intuition going in that I needed to listen to my own needs. And whether the teacher was putting something on me or not, I just wouldn't go there. I would listen to what I needed. And I knew in a yoga training, the teacher's going to be accepting generally of, I can't say all would be, but hopefully they would be accepting of wherever you're at in your journey, whether that means that you're on the mat that day and you just lay down, then you just lay down. So I think there was like 5 hours of yoga towards the end of it a day, and it was becoming quite physically grueling. But the beauty of yoga is when we're so in tune with our breath and our intuition in ourselves of what our bodies need, that we can project the visualization of where we want to go and listen along the way as to what is the best for you, what next step is in my best interest. And moving from a place of self-care, from a place of self-compassion and love, you're able to move on your mat in a way that's supportive to you, without judgment, without listening to anybody else's, ideas of where you should be. And so that day, I had an affirmation that I had chosen because pain was starting to come up in my body. And I chose to say to myself over and over and over, I am pain-free. I am pain-free. I am pain-free. Breathe. I am pain-free. I am pain-free. Not letting anything else come in, and then honoring my journey, honoring my best interest. And so if you come from that place, I don't think you can go wrong. And suddenly I was noticing how I could practice for hours without pain. And I'd come from a place of having so much pain, there were days I couldn't get out of bed. And now I'm on a mat practicing for hours and hours without pain. It just was that much of a shift just because of how I was thinking and visualizing where I wanted to go. So it's very powerful. It's super powerful stuff. And I'd love to hear your comments about whether you've, experienced this kind of thing yourself. If you have, then just drop a me in the comments. And if not, then reach out. I have resources. I have ways to support you in that process. I have weekly classes, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, that I offer on Zoom as well. And in each class, we focus on this. We focus on visualization. We focus on manifesting our outcomes and our desires. We spend a lot of time in an hour class. You're spending that whole hour that day just visualizing where you want to go. And so your results start to transform very quickly when we put the time in like that. One of the other YouTube videos, there's lots of resources out there on the power of visualization and manifestation. And I've dropped a couple links in the chat or in the comments. If I haven't on Instagram, then I will. And these places or these other resources, they talk about, the one gentleman there is talking about how if you want to manifest maybe a creative change, maybe you're trying to go to school and you have a ton of reading to do and you don't feel like you're going to want to do all this reading. Just by visualizing yourself doing the reading, all of a sudden you're already there. And then, so you're visualizing every morning I'm going to get up and I'm going to read however many pages. Get up, read pages, get up, read pages. If you're already there, then it becomes easy. There's no resistance. And what the brain thinks and what the reality is, if your brain is thinking it, it's the reality in your body. The brain doesn't know the difference. So if your brain thinks, okay, move your arm, your right arm up overhead, your body is actually going to register that happened. The brain doesn't know the difference. And that's the beauty of the power of visualization and manifestation, is that we can, even if you're unable to do it. I have many clients that they have limited range of motion. And so instead, I say to take a mudra, and maybe these fingers are curled. And I say to extend the index finger and pinky finger, and they can't do it. So instead of focusing on, oh, I can't do it, oh, there's something wrong with me, or, am I broken, am I, all the negative, instead, close your eyes, breathe, and visualize doing it. Visualize as if it's already happening. The brain doesn't know the difference. And before you know it, you'll open your eyes one day and your pinky fingers will be extended. It's that powerful. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the clients that I have been able to support through this. It's amazing. In my weekly classes, I have people who come in and you can just see there's a negativity, a dark cloud, a heaviness. They almost might look a little bit gray, or I don't know. It's like they're not bright. And then by the end of the class, when we open our eyes at the end and we all, acknowledge each other's practice and each other for being there, the joy and the energy and the beauty and the glow is unreal. The shift in one class. And it's also something that, you don't have to do a lot of. It's just changing your mind, getting out of the negative mindset and choosing to visualize and to do the work to change it, because it's not going to change automatically. And so I'm going to talk a little bit too about our limiting beliefs and whether you've heard of that statement before or not. Shadow work is another kind of way of putting it, is that we've been born into the world. We were born in as beautiful babies, untouched, unscathed, just gorgeous little souls in bodies. And then we were born into a family, and we take on that family name. And then that family also gives us a first name. And then as we grow, we receive projections of the other humans around us and their beliefs and their thoughts. And then we start to take them on as our own. Sometimes we do it subconsciously without even knowing. And until we're adults, we don't realize that those were their thoughts and their beliefs. And we don't have to take them on. We have a choice. And so the work now as adults is to kind of go back and reframe all of that, to kind of undo anything that's no longer working for you, anything that might be harming you more than supporting you. And it's not that these people around us who loved us did it on purpose. They're human and they're projecting their reality. So the shadow work is to go back and to say, okay, what beliefs have I been carrying around about myself that other people might have projected at me, about the world? And do they really serve my ultimate purpose here? Do they really serve where I want to go? And if not, do the work to get them out of you and let them go. And so that's why there's a whole module committed to this process in my program, because it takes practice and you need to bring in the tools, you need to bring in the resources to learn how to do it. And so I'm going to leave you with a few of those today. And I'm also adding them on my webinar, my workshop that I do once a month. It's a free workshop, 90-minute online workshop, where you can come and learn about what it means to really have chronic pain and how I healed from it, and kind of what the root causes of chronic pain are, and how I've worked through that, and I work through it with my clients. And at the end of that, it's a stay till the end bonus. I have that resource there too. It's a limiting beliefs document that you can work with and start getting to the bottom of your own thought process, your own subconscious, and then shifting it. So that might sound like a lot, and it's really not once you know what you're doing, and it can happen immediately. So can you think of a thought that's negative that you might repeat to yourself in your mind, or might come up often in your life? And usually they're based out of fear. So is there a fear that you have subconsciously that you that's kind of gripping you, that might have power over you because it's there? And then what are the thoughts that are related to that fear? Do you always feel that fear, or does it come and go? So the first step that you need to do is start witnessing your thoughts. And this is, sometimes people don't even understand that we are not our thoughts. The thoughts that come through our mind are our ego. And it's there for a reason. It's there to keep us safe. But every thought that comes through the mind does not mean that you believe it. It does not mean that it is who you are. So the first step is to sit back, observe, and see what your thoughts are. Then once you see your thoughts, you can choose, oh, this one's negative, write it down. Especially if it's a repeat one that keeps coming up and keeps sabotaging you in your life. Write it down. Get it out of your brain, out of your body, write it down. Continue doing this. Write down your negative thoughts when they arise. You don't have to share this with anyone. The goal is to eventually write as many down, maybe 3 to start, or if you want to work with 10, it depends how many are holding you back at this point in time. And then to burn that piece of paper, let it go. Let it go into the universe. You no longer want to hold that as yours, right? Get it out of you and let it go. Before you burn it, look at your thoughts and then find an equal and opposite positive affirmation for that thought to replace it instead. So if my thought was, oh, maybe it's, to do with pain, is that I'm always, nothing ever works out for me. I never get what I want. So I would write those thoughts down. Nothing ever works out for me. I never get what I want. And then I want to make a positive affirmation instead. Nothing ever works out for me. What if I said to myself, the universe is conspiring for me and my best interest at all times? What if I said, the universe wants to support me? Or I can have or be anything I want. The possibilities are endless, right? So you want to think of a positive affirmation that feels good to say. If you say it and you still don't believe in it, it feels icky, it doesn't feel like it even will go in because you've got such a deep-rooted belief that nothing ever works out for you, then you need to find something that you do believe. Find something that feels good that you can take on and say, I want to say that every day. I want to feel that every day. And when you feel that every day and you say it every single day, you start attracting everything to support that reality in your life. So it's really actually quite simple, but it's an entire shift of the way that we normally think as humans. So that is your task to take with you today. If you are ready to start getting out of your own way, ready to stop self-sabotaging, write down your negative thoughts, find a positive affirmation that counteracts that negative thought that you're taking on instead. And when you make a positive affirmation, it can't be something that's futuristic, like, I will be pain-free. That means it's not here yet. You have to say it as if it already exists. I am pain-free. Or the universe is working for me. Or I have the life that I want. Not I can have, because that's again in the future. It has to be something that resonates in the whole body, the whole energy system, as if it already exists so you can feel it. Because the feeling and the emotion behind it is the most important part, the most important aspect of it. Does that make sense? If anyone doesn't feel like that makes sense and they want more clarity, pop anything in the chat and I can share a little bit more on that, but I don't want to stay on here too late today. I try to keep these fairly brief. So the other thing I wanted to point out was a little bit of the neuroscience behind it. And for those kind of scientific-based people out there, we can all say this is all well and good in theory. You could practice it in theory, but if you don't know what's happening in the brain and body, you might not take that on as your own belief, right? So there's lots of resources out there online. There's lots of information about how neuroplasticity works in the mind or neuroscience. And the basic idea is that when you have a thought, your brain fires an electric impulse to a certain part of the brain. So if your thought is negative or scary, full of fear, you're going to fire to your amygdala, which is the part of the brain that turns on to say threat. There's a threat. So your whole nervous system goes into fight or flight, even if it's not actually happening. You're just thinking about it. The whole body responds as if it's reality. And when we're in fight or flight, we exacerbate our pain, especially for chronic pain sufferers. So instead, if you think a positive thought, then the firing goes to a different part of the brain that is all about keeping the nervous system calm, which is what we need when we're healing from chronic pain. You want to be in healing and repair. And then you have this overwhelming, feeling of hope. of faith, of just being able to trust that it's all going to be okay. You just have to reframe the mind. And so the more we think a certain thought, we get a groove in the brain. The plasticity of the brain gets like a little groove from that electric impulse happening. So if we're thinking a negative thought over and over and over, or if this is something you've been thinking your entire life, that groove is going to be pretty deep, right? So now you have to, when the groove is that deep, the brain defaults to where the grooves go. So your brain is going to automatically think, I can never be happy. I don't get anything I want. I don't deserve anything I want. I am not worthy. Whatever those negative thoughts are that we've subconsciously allowed the brain to think. So now we have to retrain it to go the other direction and then make that groove the deepest groove so that it defaults there instead. So that's where it will take work. It takes an entire shift of your being, of your desire, of where you want to go. And that's where the work comes in, to do the visualization, to think about where that is, to picture it. What do you want? Maybe you don't even know. Some of us don't even know. So picturing it, feeling what it would feel like to have that thing, noticing how you feel, and then also noticing how the other people around you would feel, and stay there. It's almost like a daydream. Like, who doesn't like to daydream? So practice that as well. Bring that into your day. It just takes 2 minutes here and there just to pop in, close the eyes, breathe, and picture where you want to go. And continue to practice and continue to say your affirmations to yourself. Driving down the road, in the bathroom, getting ready in the morning, in the shower, there's always an opportunity to be saying your affirmations to yourself. So there's no excuse that you don't have time, right? There's always an opportunity. So hopefully that helped you guys out there with the idea of visualization, the power of manifestation, and the trajectory that your life can take almost immediately from changing, letting go of the negative, and manifesting the positive. I've dropped a few links in the chat that you can explore more. One of my favorite kind of mentors, I guess, or people I listen to on YouTube is Abraham Hicks. She is awesome. I think she's just so empowering. And so check it out. There's lots of stuff out there, and reach out at any time if you feel like you want more resources. I can hook you up. Come to a class on Zoom, or if you're in the area, you can come live Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1, Fridays at 10:30 a.m. We do this work together, and it makes it a little bit more enjoyable when you're working with other people. The energy comes up a little bit higher. Or you can come to my live workshop that I do, a 90-minute workshop on the way to kind of overcome chronic pain using yoga therapy. And I will have some bonus gifts for you at the end, the limiting beliefs worksheet, and other things as well. So thanks for joining today. I appreciate your attendance live. It's awesome to see you guys here. And I look forward to seeing you guys all in the future. Take care. Hello, welcome. Not sure what's happening on Facebook Live here, but it is not working. Well, I'm just going to try to go out of it and go back in. So I appreciate your patience today. We're going to get to it here shortly. Live